This is a tiny tutorial about the prop palette. First, a huge caveat, which is this is closed beta. This is the first iteration of this. This could change at any time. So make sure you look at update notes on the official forums. Update notes and developer discussion, I believe, is the name of the forum section for that, in case something changes. Or official news and announcements. Sometimes they'll have things in there also. But this is the first iteration. It is a huge change, though, and I wanted to make sure people are aware of it. So in the past, if you've been playing and you had to build, or you're building something, you had to step away and make the props that you needed. You had to go off, and let me hit L to open the recipe journal. Maybe I did not hit L. There we go. You used to have to go to the Tinker's workshop, and then down here was a section for crafting your props. That is no more. And that is because they added it down here, and it's more closely aligned, I would say, with the building system. So your hotbar is down here, because you can hot swap out your tools. The materials tray back in October, I believe it was, moved down here, and it's got all these categories that you can go into when you're building. The prop palette, though, now resides right here. And what this does is it allows you to just place the prop provided you have the materials. So no more running off to craft it, or let's say you're in the middle of the build and you put down 50 tables and you're like, oops, I meant to have 55. No more stopping and losing your mojo with building. You just pull it right out if you have the materials. So each of these will have a folder shape if it's a category. So you've got right now tables, seating, bedroom, doors and trapdoors, bookcases, and rugs are all part of the furniture category. And then if you click again, you get down into the specifics for that. So these are all the tables. And when you're on an actual prop, it's going to have a square background, and the number up here will tell you how many you can place, or it'll have a 0 if you can't place any at all. Now the other super mega wonderful cool thing about this that I love is, you know, what materials you need right down here. And they reduced the material cost for these. So it's much easier now to place props. You don't have to go off and make metal ingots for some props. There weren't a lot of props that used ether shards, but some things did take it in a roundabout way because you had to refine materials. Not so much anymore. So they reduce the material costs. Instead of maybe needing 1,000 wood to make something, it's 130. So it's very, very cool. Some other things that changed: if you right click to open your materials, your menu, you still have tweak mode, which if you've played it all, you'll be familiar with. That gives you directional arrows to adjust things. Okay. You've got pick up, and you still use this. Let's say you have a material that you've already gathered and your best friend in the whole wide world just started playing and they need that prop but they don't have enough. So you can place it and then pick it up and trade it to that person, or mail it if you're not right there on their claim with them. So that is fabulous. You can still do that. Duplicate, I like this better now. We had this for things that used really common materials like wood, like trees were a good example, but that it didn't always work perfectly with everything because not everything used very common materials. So now this duplicate will quite literally instantly duplicate anything you're working with. And what's cool, this is the size that this is when you place it naturally, but I've adjusted these up. So let me tweak one of these again. I'm going to scale it up a bit. Actually, let's scale it up a lot. So if I scale it up and then I want to duplicate it, I don't have to go through and try to make it match. If I hit duplicate, it sticks at that same size, and I don't have to step away and craft it. Alright? Hope that makes sense. Ooh, server shutting down. I'm going to hit Control Z to remove that, and Control Z to resize that. If I go into reposition, this gives you a simplified version of some of the tweak controls that you see. So it's just this rotate. In this case, I had active last. You can still use, I call them the twins, because it's easier to remember. Twins, T, tilde, and tab. tab switches the direction of these simplified reposition tools, and tab switches the type. So there's no toggle for scaling right now, but if I go in and hit tilde twice and then go back to tab, that changes just the simplified directional arrows. Now, if I right click it, the last and very sexiest thing of all, I think, is this disassemble feature. In the past, say you had a claim and you filled it up with 100 props. You filled it up with 100 props and then you deleted the claim, and then, oh my god, if you didn't want to destroy the props or give them away, you had 100 props you had to find storage for. So Disassemble now, what this does is it takes the materials and it makes it available again, and either you can use it to build with it from your materials tray, or you can use it from your prop palette again. So no more stuffing your inventory. The one prop that I should mention that you cannot disassemble, and you'll see because it's going to be in the menu, it's missing, is chests. And that's because if you have, let's say you had a bunch of armor stored in there, and I don't know, some of your special items from, I don't know, winning a code or whatever, that's because it can't disassemble the chest and all of the stuff you have in it. So to avoid errors like that, you cannot use a disassemble with it. It can be placed, I just found out today. Thank you, Domino. You can place it using the prop palette, but you can't disassemble it using that. The other thing you need to know is pretty much every prop in the game is in this prop palette now. There are a few exceptions, and that is anything that you got via a code. So they gave out some social media special props. So any of those, the Iron Portilicus, which made a huge controversy for a short time, but things like that are not found in this prop palette. And then things that are tied to your account that are like premium items or from special events. So examples would be the 0-year trophy that was given out to people who played the first year from alpha to the anniversary of the game, the non-year of launch. So those things are not in the prop palette. And then another good example, if you bought a top tier Trailblazer pack, or like the top tier packs to get into alpha or beta, there's something called the Void Vault. And the Void Vault is a limited use item, so you can only ever have one Void Vault, and for that reason it's not in this prop palette. Alright, I think that covers that. I am going to do a quick demo probably after the servers come back up that will show some changes to the UI and to the building tools, which are pretty major, that I am super excited about. So look for that video as well. Thanks for listening, and I'm sure I'll talk to you soon.